Hello and welcome to a new episode of Everything Phil Collins. I'm Scott. A huge shout out to our patrons who support this channel week after week. I really appreciate it. And on episodes like today, I'll usually post a few days early with the topic and try to get some of their input. And I already know I'm going to upset them because my answers are different from theirs, but that's okay. We all love each other. So come on over and support the channel and get access to extra videos and our discussions and some behind the scenes stuff. I'd really appreciate it. Today, we're talking about the best album closers. We're actually like wrapping up the series here because a long time ago, we did the best Genesis album openers. And then a couple weeks ago, we did the best Phil Collins album openers. Then a couple months ago, we did the best Genesis closers. And now we're finishing with the best Phil Collins album closers. Maybe we'll do the other artists someday. That'd be kind of fun. You know, this is a tough list. And this is something that someone in our Patreon said as well, that this is a tough list because they're all really good. And I mean, like, there are a couple exceptions that I'll mention, but there's also some like really, really good stuff. And I found the same way to be true with the openers. And I mean, the Genesis closers, come on, like that's a list where it's like, put any Genesis closer on shuffle and I'm down for it with a few exceptions. So we're going to go top 10, but in order to do top 10, just like we had to do with the album openers, we're going to include the soundtracks as well. I can't really do the soundtracks in this case for closers because it's usually like just a really long symphony piece. So we'll put Brother Bear down there. And then we'll put Tarzan at number 9 if you want. That's fine. But let's start the real list with the real studio albums. Now, we're not including any live albums. We're not including Buster. We're not including any EPs or anything like that or greatest hits packages, just the studio albums. And we're going to rank from my least favorite, and I'll try to give some reasons, all the way to my most favorite. And I'd love for you to do your top 10 in the comments below. Or if you want to just do your top 5 or ones that you think really work or ones that you think weren't great album closers, please let me know. Number 8, starting at number 8. Okay, so number 8 is You Touch My Heart from Testify. And it doesn't necessarily have to do with the actual song, as it more has to do with the song that comes before it. That song is a song called Through My Eyes, not Look Through My Eyes, but Through My Eyes, spelled differently. And as I said before, I think it's one of the most underrated Phil Collins songs of all time. People kind of dismiss Testify, but there's some real bangers on there. Least You Can Do, Can't Stop Loving You, and Through My Eyes is insane. I mean, it's so good. It's like Find a Way to My Heart good. Very similar to Find a Way to My Heart. Through My Eyes was the last song on the album. It would probably be in my top 3 on this list, maybe even top 2. But it's not. Instead, it's You Touch My Heart. Not a bad song. I could see a lot of you not liking it. It's kind of da-da-da-da-da-da, kind of, you know, pedantic, a little cheesy. But I like it. I actually like it. It's an okay song. It's not my least favorite song on the album. I really like that soft 90s keyboard Phil Collins. We get him for all of both sides. We get him a little bit on But Seriously. We get him a little bit on the soundtracks as well and some of the other filler songs like True Colors. But like, this is one of those just kind of like softy songs. I'm a softy. I like Every Day. I like this song. It's cool, but it's not a good album closer. Oh, by the way, I didn't talk about my criteria. What's my criteria? Well, it's an album track, obviously. Does it wrap up? Does it sound like the rest of the album? Does it wrap everything up with a nice little bow? Is it emotional and epic like a Coldplay song? Those are the kind of things that, like, you know, we don't want the song to stand out like a sore thumb, like Tomorrow Never Knows. We want it to feel like it's wrapping everything up, like Take Me Home. Okay. So you know my criteria. We've done this before. Coming at number 7, a closer that I don't really like is Why Can't It Wait Till Morning? Well, I don't think Why Can't It Wait Till Morning really sounds like the rest of the record. I don't really love the song. It's a good song. Like the strings are a bit over the top, even though I like what he does with, I mean, if you want to say like a sister song to this is If Leaving Me Is Easy, like I think If Leaving Me Is Easy is 10 times better than this song. I've never hated it. I never skip it. But it's just a little bit too boring of an ender. Kind of like We Said Hello Goodbye, which I'm not counting as an ender, by the way. I mean, it's a good lyric. It's not as good as If Leaving Me Is Easy. That's a really cool hook. But yeah, it's a good lyric. It's okay. I'm not crazy about it. I'm really not crazy about it. I just want to be clear. I'm not like saying it shouldn't be on the album. I'm just saying that there would have been a better closer. What is that? Well, thanks for asking. Okay, so we keep this song on the album. I would say a better closer would probably be The West Side. I think that would be a cool song. So you could end with Don't Let Him Steal Your Heart Away into Why Can't It Wait Till Morning into The West Side. So that's my argument. Let me know if you have a better closer. By the way, I told you on You Touch My Heart for Testify, it would be Through My Eyes. Okay, this is the next one is The Times They Are Changing from Dancing to the Light. Covering Bob Dylan is pretty ballsy. I wouldn't do it. I think, Phil Collins in the late 90s covering Dylan, he had done something like that before, right? He covered the Beatles before on Face Value. It's not a big deal. He covered the Supremes, not a big deal. I actually like this song. Like, I like the Bob Dylan song, of course, but I like Phil's version because it has that epic. So I would put this really high on my list. In fact, I think I should put it higher than Tomorrow Never Knows, but I just didn't want to get in trouble by you guys. But honestly, I would put this higher than Tomorrow Never Knows only because it is an epic closer. Like, the times they're changing, it's like, certainly the times were changing for him, right? Like at his age and in pop culture. He had left the band a long time ago. Honestly, I think this is a good ender. It's a really epic tune. I think he does a good job with it too. Like, I know a lot of you are going to crap on this tune, but I like it. I would say though, we probably didn't need it. You know what I mean? Like, this could have been a good B-side. Dancing to the Light is getting a touch too long as is. So I don't think we necessarily needed it. Okay, you know what would have made a way better closer would be River So Wide. So you have like this, like The Same Moon, and you have No Matter Who, which are kind of like We Can't Dance songs, right? They're kind of like Tell Me Why or like Never a Time, which I love. Love those tunes. There's a lot of like kind of like standard like Mike and the Mechanics, Beatles style rock tunes not rock tunes, but just like pop rock tunes on this album. I really like that. I like this like weird balance between like It's in Your Eyes and Love Police and No Matter Who. And we're going to do a review on this album soon. And then the more upbeat fun stuff like River So Wide, Take Me Down, Dance into the Light. It's a great album. Yeah, I would have closed with River So Wide. Wouldn't have that would have been really cool. And then we could just leave this off as a B-side or just a live, just for the live show. Okay, that brings me to number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tomorrow Never Knows. Easily my least favorite track on Face Value. I've said this a million times, and I think you agree with me. Phil can do this because Face Value is not supposed to be a successful record. It was supposed to be his side project, an outing where he could just go and pay homage to the artists who have influenced him, like Motown and Eric Clapton and Brian Eno and the Beatles. And so we've got this Beatles cover that's really close to the bone, very similar to the original. Lots of like backwards experimentation that they became famous for at Abbey Road, using the mixing console, using the tapes, which was one of the first times it had been done. So it's a very cool historic song in that way. Unlike The Times They Are Changing, Phil doesn't do his own thing with it, in my opinion. But you let me know what you think of this song. In hindsight, I wish I had switched them. I think The Times They Are Changing, I don't know. No, I think River So Wide should have been the closer. Anyway, what would I have made the closer on this album then? Well, maybe, I guess if Leaving Me Is Easy, I don't know. It does kind of reset the palette. So I don't know. That's a tough one. Maybe that tape demo of Somewhere Over the Rainbow. That it's on a lot of the releases, the original releases, but maybe that one. By the way, have you guys heard the Atlantic Records version? I can get a copy here tomorrow for $120, and it's hard for me to do that. I really want to hear what Face Value sounds like spread out over 2 discs, over 4 sides, but I can't pull the trigger. It's Canadian, so for you it's like $90 US. And I don't know what it is in pounds and euros, but you let me know. I haven't pulled the trigger yet on this Face Value acoustic sounds or 75th anniversary Atlantic. I'm tempted to. Maybe if I get another 2 patrons in the next 48 hours, I'll buy that record and we'll listen to it together. Okay, promise. Two new patrons, come on over. We'll buy that record together. Okay, moving on to number 4 is Please Come Out Tonight. Really beautiful song. Both sides is getting a bit heavy. I mean, there's maybe 1 or 2 songs I would trim just to I like short albums. I like concise artistic ideas, but I like Please Come Out Tonight. So cool. So beautiful. Great lyric. Yeah, I like it. I really like it. It's not an epic. I said this before when we did the Genesis closers. You either end with a bang like Afterglow or Fading Lights, or you end with just a little bit more of an encore, like a Thanks for Coming Out, like Another Record, or It's Gonna Get Better. You know what I mean? One of my favorite things about Both Sides, and this song is 6, almost 7 minutes long. One of my favorite things about Both Sides is just this kind of like constant, like peaceful, like low level relaxation feel that these songs have. And he does that by these big fat stereo Yamaha, or they're not Yamahas. I'm not sure what these digital synthesizers he's using. It was a Wave Station, I think, maybe. I don't know. You have to let me know. I'm very curious. I'd love to get my hands on a copy. But these big pads that fill out the whole song, and then these very sparse drum machines. It's something that he got criticized for back in the early 90s, but now I think it's so peaceful and relaxing. And this is a great example. It's very even keeled. There's not a lot of dynamics, which some people would complain about, but I like it. There's no surprises here. It's very nice. Coming in at number 3 is Going Back. Now, Going Back is not the closer on the deluxe version, I don't believe, but on the original record, the record that had like what, I think it was 75 songs on the original Going Back album, way too many. I mean, listen, in my opinion, one Motown cover was enough, but I promise that one day I will get into this record. One day I will rediscover or just discover this record, and I'll have something nice to say. Going Back, the song is unreal though. I mean, it's really good. It is a Phil Collins style song. It sounds like it could be on Tarzan or Brother Bear. It sounds like it could be on Dance Into the Light or Both Sides. It's just a nice song. And by golly, it makes for a great opener. So I'm putting it at number 3. That's pretty nice of me. Number 3. By the way, there are so many versions of this song. There are so many versions of this album in the world. Like there's deluxe issues. There's like kind of like a reissue on the CD that they did, but like, then there's the 2016 stuff that made it kind of like more condensed just to fit on vinyl. But I'm pretty sure this was the last song, right? Do I have the CD copy around? By the way, I don't have the CD here, but my CD player in my car is broken. And I know the next car I'm going to get, it's not going to have a CD player. That's kind of sad for me. Like that's like the end of the CDs for me. Like I do have a disc player somewhere, but it's not hooked up. And so that's kind of an end of an era. I thought I had a copy of Going Back kicking around here. Maybe I don't. Okay, I'm putting Going Back 3rd. You let me know where you'd put it. Okay, so when I say my second, you're going to know my first. And this is where I differ from everyone. And it's funny. I think a lot of us are going to have the top 2 as our as the same top 2, but I'm curious. But this is where I differ. And by the way, these top 2 album closers by Phil Collins are in my top 3 favorite Phil Collins songs of all time. How cool is that? So my number 2 is Take Me Home. And I know you're like, oh, that's my number 1. You know what? We can tie them if you want, but I can't do that. Like number 2 is Take Me Home. I love it. I guess emotionally, just from the lyrics standpoint, like it's pretty darn good. From a production standpoint, it's unbeatable. It's so cool. Very much like Please Come Out Tonight, but in the sense that it's faster and more exciting. This is a song that could play on for like 25 minutes and I wouldn't notice that it's been on for that long. It's just that beat from the 909 I could just groove with all day long. When he closes the concerts with it, I mean, it's so cool. There is no better album closer on this record. And so this is your number 1, I'm sure. It's most people's number 1. It could be my number 1 if it weren't for Find a Way to My Heart. Find a Way to My Heart is my most favorite Phil Collins song of all time. There are others that come close, Take Me Home being one of them. But the goosebumps I get on Find a Way to My Heart, it's my favorite song in the world. It's my favorite Phil Collins song. It's a great album closer. I love that kind of like that Leslie, like that whirling sound that's happening that kind of like fades in and fades out. And of course, it's an emotional kind of mid-tempo song, but yet it still has the horns. Never a fan of the R&B version that they did live on Dance Into the Light. And I think they did it again on, they also did it on Both Sides, right? And did they also do it on the 2004 tour? For some reason, this song has never really kicked off live for me. I think I do have a recording of it from the 90s tour or the 91 tour, like that they did in rehearsals maybe. It just never worked for me live. But yeah, as an album closer, it's my favorite Phil Collins album closer, and it's just my favorite Phil Collins song. I don't know why. I will one day try to figure out why it is the case, but it's so good. Syncopated drums, everything feels so great. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, let me hear all your list, please, down below. We're just going to throw top 8, right? Whatever. Who cares? Or maybe it's your number one. I don't know. But let me know your list of your favorite album closers by Phil Collins. Make sure you check out those other videos we did. And we got more videos coming up. So make sure you subscribe, and thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button for exclusive videos, behind-the-scenes content, and to have your say on future topics before I film. Have a look at our Patreon page. Thanks for watching.